I'm Chef Susan Odell of Foodell.com. I'm a professional teaching chef and a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu. Today I want to show you how to make one of my favorite soups, roasted butternut squash and pear. Let's have a look at our ingredients. First of all, we've got a butternut squash. We're going to roast this to bring out that super extra sweetness, and it's going to give it a great depth of flavor. We've also got 1 yellow onion. We're going to saute that with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to add a teaspoon of dried sage. This is a great combination with squash. I've also got a pear. I'm using a Bartlett pear. Use any pear that looks fresh and delicious in the store, and just chop that, and we're going to saute that with the onion and sage. To make our soup soupy, I've got low sodium chicken stock. We're going to use about 4 cups worth, and I'm going to add a splash of white wine, 1/3 of a cup, and give it some nice crispness and a little bit of acidity. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Let's get cooking. To prepare your squash for roasting, you first want to cut it in half lengthwise. Use the tip of a sharp knife like a chef's knife. Stick it in the middle and then come all the way down the base right onto your board like that. You're going to do the same thing on the other half of the squash, so just turn it around, put your knife in, and slice down. To roast it, you want to put this butternut squash on a lightly greased baking sheet. We're going to put it flesh side down, roast it in a 400-degree oven for about an hour or until it gets nice and brown. I know my squash is finished roasting because it's nice and brown on the outside, and when I turn it over, it's beautiful and golden. Just need to cool it a little bit, and then I'll start to scoop out the flesh. So you want to just use a regular kitchen spoon to scoop out all of the seeds and discard those, and then scoop out the flesh and put it in a bowl, and we're going to use that to saute it with our onion, sage, and pear. I've got my 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan that I've heated up over medium heat. I'm going to add my chopped onion and my 1 teaspoon of sage, and I'm going to let that simmer and cook just until the onion is soft, about 5 minutes. My onions are soft, so I'm going to add all of the rest of the ingredients. I've got my chopped pear, got my nice roasted butternut squash, got a teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/3 of a cup of white wine, give or take a little bit, and 4 cups of chicken stock. I'm going to give the soup a good stir, bring it to a simmer, and cook it for 20 minutes uncovered. Once your soup is cooked, we're going to puree it. You can use either a blender or a food processor. I use a blender because you get a finer puree. Don't overfill your blender. Work in batches if you need to, or it's going to spew all over the kitchen. Once you get it in, you're just going to give it a good whiz and you'll get a beautiful pureed soup. You want to pour your pureed soup into a clean saucepan and then taste it. You might want to add a little bit more salt and pepper. You can reheat the soup just prior to serving. Oh, it's delicious. Soup's on. Bon appetit.